baby.
After a long hiatus, the show is back. It's Tuesday, time for the golf show. Arnold Palmer Invitational. Joining me is guest Sam Wagman of the Gameday. Sam, how's it going? We had a little bit of technical issues going on. A little bit sweaty right now. It's a little stressful, but we're back and we're ready to talk about it. What's going on?
I'm having a great week. Arnold Palmer is always one of my favorite events on the year because, we get to see all the best golfers. It's the first true test of the season. I thought that was going to be Torrey Pines a month ago, but, clearly not. And had another 100-1 winner this past week. That makes it 5 of the first 7 tournaments of the season that we've had a 100+1 or greater winner. So I don't think we're going to get that this week, but I do have a couple long shots. I do have a couple long shots.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Like you said, all around game test here at Bay Hill. We've got Kitayama. He is the defending champion. 69 players. Nice. In the field this week. Nice. Really big emphasis on short game here. Forcing these approach shots from 200 plus out. You're going to hear a lot of that this week. Thick rough, all Bermuda putting. So anything that you really honed in and focused on when looking and doing your research?
Yeah. So above all, the biggest thing for me was building my thoughts around guys who play well on difficult courses, difficult conditions, in smaller, difficult fields as well, because Bay Hill is truly an all-around test of your game. It's one of the few non-major championship venues that really emphasizes that. And there's no true weakness to this course. There's a ton of water everywhere. There's a ton of bunkers. The course is long. It's over 7,400 yards. But there is one thing here that you can really rely on. That's course history and, event history. It's the third most predictive course out of 44 on the PGA Tour. So there's plenty of predictability over, the past 4 or 5 years since they renovated it in 2019. And then, a lot of that. And then I just, like I said, I look at, guys who play well in difficult conditions. A lot of times that, that exposes you to the top of the board mostly. But there are some guys a little bit further down the board as well that have played well on, the Florida swings here before that I took a look at. But yeah, that bogey avoidance, driving distance is another one for me. And for the first time this year, not focusing as heavily on approach here.
Okay. Yeah. I think also another thing I found myself looking towards par 4 scoring. Each of the last 5 winners, they were ranked 5th or better in par 4 scoring. Looking at the top of the board there. First of all, big announcement, huge announcement in the golf world. Scotty Scheffler is rocking the facial hair again. I know we don't need to talk about his putter. The big development here, rocking the facial hair again. Maybe he ends up just finally getting a win here, gets his putting together. He's sitting there plus 650. You've got Rory behind him plus 850. Hovland and Xander sitting at 12-1 and Cantlay 14-1. There is not an amount of money in this world that's going to get me to bet Cantlay this week. Anything at the top of the board interests you?
Yeah, I will say the only place I'm looking at Cantlay is the first round leader market. He was good here last year in that. Ranks out pretty well in that first round leader market for me. But yeah, this is too tough a field for him to truly compete at. It's going to be a test of his all around game. And especially when the guy's putter has been pretty non-existent lately. But, if I have to go anyone to the top of the board here, it's pretty much to Rory for me. The guy is absolutely electric in Bay Hill. He has not done anything bad here. He's never finished outside the top 30. Current streak of 7 consecutive top 13 finishes. Obviously won this in 2018 as well. And he led the first round in 2022. So despite it being a little bit of a slower start to Rory's 2024 season, it's still a pretty safe bet here. He'll get a top 10 finish for me. If you want to go over to a place like DraftKings that offers you a plus 300 boost on outrights and boost him up from 9 to 12. That's probably a good play as well. And then, fill out the rest of the card there. But it wouldn't be, outside of the realm of possibility to start with Rory at 9 to 1 to win this tournament.
Yeah, I think I'm over Rory for a little bit. I'm going to bet him first round leader. I'm going to look to play him as like a round lowest score live play probably. But
of the last 8 Arnold Palmers, he's had one of the low round scores. It's just finding out which day it is.
Yeah, exactly. We'll probably run it back with Xander with these top 10. Cantlay and Xander are kind of in the same situation where they just can't finish. So I'm going to stay away from betting him outright. It never goes well, end up hurting my feelings. Let's get into some of these smasher passes. First one here, one of yours, Theegala T20 plus 190.
He's so due. He's just
oh my
due.
God. I know, but you know what I can see though? My concern is like the inconsistency, like with his driver. And I can just see it now. Like, I feel like I don't know. He's going to get himself in a bad situation. And then I feel like it's going to be very painful. He ranked 8th in putting at Bay Hill last year. He's a good Bermuda putter. We know that. T20, I guess it's a good number, though.
It is a good number. Getting it near 2 to 1 odds. I like that. Look, the guy's tee degree game has been pretty good this year, and he's really good from that 200 plus proximity. It's a big thing for me this week. And like you said, his Bermuda putting is typically solid. Off the tee could hurt him. It really could hurt him.
Yeah.
But I like the predictability here. I'm not too chuffed over the recent form. And I'm more kind of leaning on, course comp history, Muirfield Village top 5, Torrey Pines top 4, Innisbrook T7, all last year numbers for him. So, like I said, I'm placing a lot of emphasis on these harder, longer setups with, Pinot Rough and, a lot of the characteristics that Bay Hill has. And Theegala pretty much fits that to a T. I'm not going to get there outright, but I do think in a small ass field like this, I think there's definitely a road to him being top 20. I think this is more of a misprice than anything. It's me just jumping on a number.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. Next one here. I just feel like the books are being kind of disrespectful about this guy, and it's been all season. You might disagree with me, but we're doing it. Smasher pass, Tom Hoagie. Top 30 plus 125. No, not with the eye roll. He's playing really good golf. I don't know what does everyone need out of him.
I do think he's playing really good golf, but my opinion on Tom Hoagie is that he falters in strong fields. That is typically my feeling with Hoagie. Like, he shits the bed. Like, he's there when it works out for him, but saw it last week. It was kind of hit or miss with him at the COG last week, and I'm in and out there. What'd you say the number was? Top 30
plus 125.
It's not terrible. Again, small fields, so
20.
things are so much more attainable in these smaller fields. I could be with it. The approach game's always there for him. The 200 plus proximity is there for him. He ranked 12th in my model this week. I don't hate it
for me. Yeah.
I don't hate it from that. I don't think like he has like any sort of win equity or anything like that. But top 30, I could see.
Yeah, I'm not going to get there outright, but he's in really good form. He hasn't finished worse than T28 in his last 4 starts. He's got 3 top 20s, 2 top 8s. His finishes here: cut, T32, cut, T15, T26. He's 3rd in strokes gained on approach. In the 6th on tour this season in proximity from 200 plus yards out, which is where a lot of these shots are going to be taken from. So I think if he can just play like he's been playing, a top 30, we don't call anything a lock, but I feel pretty confident in this one.
Yeah, his off the tee game is going to be a big thing for him.
Yeah,
because that's usually where it gets to be hit or miss for him. It's a big reason why he missed the cut last year. Lost over a stroke per round off the tee, and despite the fact that his putting was really good, that absolutely crushed him. And that's a big reason why he missed the cut. He missed it on the number last year, but still missed it. And this is a course that can really punish you if you put yourself in
I'm
bad
all in on Hoagie. Let it be known.
Next
one is, what am I not? Smash or pass. Keegan Bradley, 45-1 to win.
Yeah. So, all right. So this is very, very, have to preface this. This is a number thing for me. Major number thing. Opened at 90-1 and was bet down so quickly. I blinked and the number was gone. He's now down to 45-1. Please don't take this number. There has, please manage your FOMO when you're betting on these golf tournaments, especially in fields that are this strong. Keegan is he's playing good golf right now, but I'm not quite sure that I'm there with him at 45-1. I would have been all in if I got the number on 90-1. The Hard Rock Sportsbook is the worst book in America and didn't have odds posted until he was 50-1, like 4 hours later. So missed that number. If you got the 90-1, I like it. Keegan Bradley has definitely got there, and he's been like just outside there in the last couple of years. Obviously, finished in the top 10 last year, and his metrics are really good. Does like to show up for these good or harder courses here. But the last time we saw him was the Genesis, so uninspiring miscut from him there.
Very uninspiring.
We all thought we thought he would play really well there. Did not play that well at all whatsoever. I think his number for a top 20 is a lot more palatable. Pulling that up right now, it is plus 170 for a top 20. Even for a top 30, minus 140, it's a little bit juiced. But top 20, I think, is very attainable for him. He's the kind of guy that'll play well here, in this kind of field and on this kind of course. But I'm not sure I can get there on the outright. Yeah. So this is a pass.
I don't know. I'm not getting there on the outright. I think you could convince me on the top 20 just because this is somewhere he historically does play.
It's going to be a first round leader play for me as well.
Yeah, I think I was just about to say that. I think that's something worth looking at. You look at his past 3 starts here, T10, T11, T10. So there's something to like here. He does find success. He's never missed a cut. So I do like that play. 45-1 though, it's going to be a no for me.
It's just too short. It's just too short.
Yeah.
Like you have Keegan Bradley right now ahead of Sung Jae Im, who is a better golfer. Digala, who I think is a better golfer right now. Chris Kirk, who I think right now is a better golfer. I'm
Tom
not
Hoagie.
sure. Yes. Last year's winner, Kitayama, Matthew Pavone. I think these guys are all playing very, very solid golf right now. I think Keegan is kind of being shunted back up there, and I'm not quite sure he carries the ceiling of some of these guys right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. I'm going to give you smash or pass. Harris English, top 20, plus 160. Runner-up last year. I think he has another top 15 in the last 3. He's playing well this year. He's in good form, good course history. His driving and putting is good. His approach game isn't anything like to talk very highly about, but he is one of those golfers that you find, like, he has a tendency to play his best golf in difficult conditions, which makes me like him here at top 20. So it's a smash for me. Where are you at?
So the thing with Harris English is that every time we talk ourselves into Harris English, he goes and does something stupid the next week.
Yeah, it's our fault.
And it's every single time with this guy. And it happened with you and I earlier this year where I was so in on Harris English top 30, and then he went and shit the bed and didn't make the cut. And I'm trying to remember what it was at. I think it was at Torrey. I'm not quite sure. But look, the top 2 seems to be clouding a lot of people's minds here. He wasn't quite great off the tee last year. Wasn't quite great on approach. He wasn't good around the green. He had the best putting numbers in the field last year. Mm-hmm. And, that's just such a fluky thing to bring back. A lot of people are in on English this year, or this week. And I don't know. Like I'm trying to get there with him, but I'm not exactly quite sure that he fits the bill for me. It's just, this is going to be a place, something that I would get in more on a placement vibe than I would on an outright vibe with him. And I'm not quite ready to hit it there with him. I think his numbers have just been very inflated by the betting public here, kind of similar to Keegan Bradley. He's one of those guys I'm going to full fade this week. I did the same thing with Russell Henley last week, as one of the public chalk plays. Wish I did it with Eric Cole too, but can't hit everything.
Right, of course. I don't even want to talk about Eric Cole at
Never
all.
again.
Actually,
Never
I have
again.
no interest in talking. And he's on my
Never
team.
again.
Harris English is on my team for my season long. I very, very badly need at least the 2-man. It is not happening for me this year. Next one here, talk to me about this guy, Smasher Pass. Cam Young, first round leader, 30-1.
Yeah, this made me sick to my stomach to type out because I
feel sick.
You know how much I like. You know how much I like Cam Young.
Yeah, you have a problem.
But every single time that I go and say, okay, Cam Young's starting to heat up, it backfires in my face. So I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm not betting him outright. I'm not betting him the place. I'm just betting the first round leader. I'm going to smash this here. I'm going to tell you why. Top 2 in last year's round 1. So he was 5 under. And I forget who, someone was 7 under. I forget exactly who it was last year, but he was T2 last year in round 1. He ranked 6th in my first round leader model this year. Does really well right away. He's one of those guys that can start really hot if the birdies are flowing for him, and then he kind of fades out because the level of elite ball striking can only hold up so well when your short game is that of a 12-year-old junior varsity golfer, which is Cam Young's on a good day. So he does average 68.5 in first round scoring this year. That's one of the top 20 numbers in this field. So I do really like Cam Young's ability to go out there and score. He does very well in calmer scoring conditions, which is how it's supposed to be to start the week here. It's not supposed to be that windy. Yeah. And then the form is really there for me right now. Over the past few weeks, we've seen him play really well. I actually thought he looked really well at the Honda Classic last week, and thought he had a chance to go out there and win at some point on Friday. Obviously, Saturday killed that with a 71, but definitely puts himself in good position. And if you're looking for a 30-1, it's not the worst number in the world for him. He can go right out there and win, and he's played well in his last 2 showings. He's got a top 10 and a top 13. So
I feel like first round leader, you betting first round leader for him is kind of like your first step in therapy. That's part of the 7-step addiction recovery for you. That's a good first step to not getting your feelings hurt. I probably will not be on that, but again, I'm not someone that bets him for some reason. I don't know what it is. I think he burnt me too many times that unlike you, I'm not going back for the pain. I'd rather, hurt my own feelings with Spieth and guys like that.
Well, I have a history of going back to things that I never should in various aspects of my life. So, might as well continue it right here with some bad behavior.
Yeah. Last Smasher Pass here. Only because this guy was at the top of my model. Another guy I do not bet often. Smasher Pass, Sam Burns, 22-1.
Ooh, I'm not really sure here with him. Burns definitely is that guy on Bermuda. That is the saving grace there with him. He can play really, really well with it. But I don't know. It's this field, man. He doesn't do well in those stronger field events for me, and that's probably going to push me off of him this week. I think around the number that he's at, there's just some better guys there. Spieth is there, Morikawa is there, Homa is there, Ober is kind of there at that number as well. These are all guys that I would have much more confidence in this kind of field than I would in Sam Burns, because we just haven't seen it from him in so long. I'm still traumatized by the collapse at the Amex, so I don't want to bet him anytime soon.
This is kind of a to be determined one for me, because every time I've ignored the top of my model, it has not gone well for me. So I don't know that I'm going to get there outright. I don't like that number. I think Ludwig is actually way more attractive in that range.
First time of the year that we've said that.
I know his success at Valspar makes me kind of tempted. And then, in 2022 here, he was top 10 when he hit his irons well. But again, when he hit his irons well, so there's a little bit of a stipulation of that. So I don't know where I'll get. You can follow me on Pickett. If I get somewhere with him, I will post that there. Let's get into some of our Triple D bets here. Who's your one and done for this?
Yeah, my one and done is going to be Jordan Spieth.
Gosh. Okay, I'm glad one of us is saying it. Okay, not me, because I don't think it holds as true when I bet him. But go ahead.
I mean, you know me with Jordan Spieth. I think he's been my one and done guy on at least a couple of the shows this year.
Yeah.
But I really love Spieth's course history here. Really stands out to me. Like I said at the beginning of the show, this being one of the first tournaments of the year that doesn't weight strokes gained approach as like the heaviest thing on the model, is a huge thing for me, because it just has not been there with his irons this year. Around the green, dynamite. We've seen him chip in from everywhere. It's nothing, short of classic Jordan Spieth. The putting is hit or miss, but when he needs it to be there, it's been there for Spieth as well. Off the tee is going to be the real question mark here for him, as it almost always is with Spieth. We saw him lose a couple tournaments last year by blowing it off the tee into the water.
Yeah.
So that definitely happens. I believe that happened at the Valspar last year as well. So, there's definitely some questions with Spieth, but I do like the number, 22-1 for me is, pretty solid enough. He's got 2 top 4 finishes in his last three years here, and he's only had those 2 appearances. So I really like it for him. Obviously, like I said, course history is going to be really, really sticky this week. 3rd most predictive course out of 44 on the PGA Tour. But his par 4 average is dynamite, 2nd in this field in par 4 scoring, 5th in tee to green, 6th in bogey avoidance, 3rd in going for the green hit percentage. And again, in a tough field, I want one of those guys who's been there. He's won multiple majors in these tough fields. Like, he's always there when he needs to be. The question is just going to be finishing for him. And
it's going to be finishing and not getting disqualified. Like, if we can do both of those things, then I think there's a good argument. I've already bet him top 10 plus 210. My, once again, season long, not like anyone gives a shit about my season long. I give a shit about my season long, and I could really use a Spieth win here. He's finished T6 or better in 2 of his, his full starts, we'll say. Like you kind of said, 3rd in bogey avoidance, 6th in strokes gained around the green, 12th in par 5 scoring 2, something that I did look at. And as far as this tournament goes, it's just a good fit. And when we talk about these difficult courses, he's a guy, and you want to talk about due. He hasn't won since 2022. It's time. Come on, Spieth. Like, I need it so badly. I need it more than anything. I'm going to go with, and if you saw the post on Twitter for the show, you probably know where I'm going with this.
I do. Unfortunately, I do. I don't agree, but
it's fine. I don't love it, but I will. I've already used them in one of my one and dones. I have a lot of them. So I just don't know where I'm going to get with him as far as another tournament. So I feel he rated out actually very bad for me. So I should say that before I say it. He did not rate out well for me. But
he didn't rate out well for me as well. He's pretty close to the bottom for me.
Yeah, he did not rate out well for me. I'm trying to give a name that I don't see a lot of, though, because I think that I have similar opinions too. Okay, let me just get to it. Matthew Fitzpatrick, 33-1. History is very solid here. We know he likes Bay Hill. T21 in 3 of his 6 starts this season. And he plays well here. Past 5 seasons, 2nd, T9, T10, T9, T14. Coming off a T21. God, he gained strokes in all 4 major categories last weekend. His putting was not good on the West Coast, but again, we know historically it's better on Bermuda. I think I will probably also be taking first round leader. Top 10 or top 20 is probably a better bet here, but I'm going to go for it with my one and done, it's going to be Matt Fitz, 33-1.
Yeah. He checks the course history and difficult course, like impressiveness box. What he doesn't check is just the recent form. Like it's just all over the place for him. I followed him on Saturday at the Cognizant for a little while I was trailing the GOAT Minwoo. I don't know. Like he just didn't feel like he was in the zone there like all week. Like he was just up and down. It's just back and forth with him all week. So I will say, like, I can understand, like, from a consistency course, standpoint, small field, it makes a lot of sense. The number is better than I thought it was going to be. I honestly thought he was going to be like 22-1.
Yeah, that's the attractive part for me. I think that's part of it. And I didn't say that, so I'm glad you said it. Like, Fitz at 33-1 is just for me, is a sexy number because I think things do align where like wouldn't be shocking if he wins. So at a 33-1, I think that's probably where it pushes the needle for me.
Yeah, I think he's probably the I'm not going to say he's the best, choice in that 30 to 40 range. I think Zalatoris is the best in that 30 to 40 range, but I do think Fitzpatrick is probably the second best there. I just don't know if I can get there because I'm going to be pretty exposed to the top of the board, starting with Spieth and, pretty much going through that 20s list. I'm just not sure I'm going to be able to get to Fitzpatrick there. Yeah. I do think he has a chance to win, but again, this is something I would be a lot more comfortable with as a placement, just given the course history. Just like give me a top 20. I mean, it depends on what the number is, but I think it's going to be pretty close. Yeah, it's plus 110.
It's
plus 110 on draft. Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you give me a plus number on top 20, I think I'll probably land on it with him. Just given the course history and just it's so sticky here. Like you can just literally just coast on that and be okay with it. Otherwise, I don't think I can get there with him. And I have gotten there a couple times with him as an outright this year. It's just I don't think it's going to be here.
Okay, fair. What is your dad bet for the week?
Yeah, so I actually went through a bunch of bets that I really liked before I settled on Max Homa top 20 at plus 105.
He didn't even like come across my radar. I feel like I got to go back.
But he's a Bay Hill guy, another Bay Hill guy. 4 top 24 finishes here in all 4 of his tries. His lowest one was T24, and he's had 3 finishes in the teens. So the results are there. Smaller field. Plays his best golf on long, difficult tracks. Obviously, won Quail Hollow. Top 15 or better at strokes gained off the tee to green, bogey avoidance, 200 plus proximity, par 3 scoring on the difficult tracks. I mean, it's Homa, so literally anything can happen. And I will admit, like the recent form, it scares me a little bit with him. Has not played his best golf this year, but he can come up at with the best of them. And I do think you're getting, a pretty solid top 20 number. Like I said, same thing applies with Fitzpatrick. Don't think I can get there with an outright, just given the field strength and given the guys around him. But you give me a plus money number on this top 20 placement, for a guy who's done it plenty of times before, I'll be on it all day. And I think that's a much better way to go in this market. With how small this field is and how concentrated I think it'll be at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah. He's also been getting back to cracking jokes on Twitter. So I think he's back to being goosey-goosey. So I like the vibes coming out of him. I think I can probably get behind that. My dad bet, we're just going to go with Big Hog Hoagie, okay? Top 30, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going all the way through, plus 125. Again, rated out really well for my model and the Bet the Number model. We talked about it earlier, 6th on tour this season in proximity from 200 plus yards out, which is where a lot of these shots are going to come from. He's in really good form, 3rd in strokes gained on approach. There's a lot to like. He's just playing good right now. His history isn't like super sexy, but he does have a T15, T26, 2 cuts, T32. So sticking with Big Hog Hoagie. So what is your dart, your long shot that you love that you wouldn't tell me over text? I'm going to fucking hate it, I feel like.
Taylor Moore
I like it.
200-1.
Okay, I lied. I like
200-1.
I like
when
it.
I saw this number, my eyes bugged out
Okay.
of my socket because I thought of how, he came out of nowhere in Innisbrook last year to beat Schenk, to beat Spieth in that, down the stretch there. Really, really showed out well. Innisbrook, one of the top comp courses for me. And then I dug into it a little bit more here. T27 at Quail Hollow last year. He's played well at Murfield Village, which is another top comp with the, long course, Penal Rough, stuff like that. And he plays well in Florida. He's top 15 in strokes gained Florida late over the last 3 seasons. So he's got 2 made cuts in 2 tries here, T39 and T42. So he fits the fact that, his last try here was a made cut. Obviously won at Valspar Innisbrook last year, 23rd in the model this week, 7th in 200 plus proximity, 8th in Bermuda putting, 13th in bogey avoidance, ranks 4th in the field in birdie or better percentage from the rough in difficult conditions. Okay. Huge thing with how penal that rough is. Crushes it on par 5s. He's 8th in par 3 scoring. And then there's 11 players who rank top 30 in around the green, scrambling gain, and bogey avoidance. He's one of them. And then the last thing I got here, he is the best weighted Bermuda putter in the field when you weight in difficult course conditions and a couple other putting metrics there. But I bet him top 20. I bet him outright. The 200-1 I got over on Hard Rock. I think it's 150-1 on a couple other sites. But look, I know we are not, long shot merchants here with this tournament because of how top heavy it is. But Kurt Kitayama did it 250-1 last year. Maybe, just maybe it happens again.
Yeah. Also, I really like Kitayama again, but that's a story for another day. You're gonna hate mine.
How much am I gonna hate
100-1.
Oh, I do hate that.
I know you hate it. You don't like him.
Did you know he got disqualified for signing an incorrect scorecard at this tournament a few years ago?
Good. I like a comeback story, all right? Last year, he gained over 10 strokes ball, striking 4 top 26 finishes here in 6 of his starts. You know what? I got a soft spot for Grillo. I don't know what's going on lately, but I am in on him. I know you're not going to back me, but I'll probably have a couple more long shots. Take a look at who rated out well for me in my model. Post that on Picket. Any final thoughts before you let people know where they can find you?
Oh, God, please give us a non-long shot winner this week.
Yeah, I don't think
we need it. Yeah. We need it so badly. I don't think I could take another one though. If it has to be a long shot, please let it be Taylor Moore.
Oh, God. All right. Let the people know where they can find you and let's get out of here.
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at Swagman95. All the bets, everything, all my content over at the Gameday, the Gameday NFL, Gameday HQ. Plenty of other things over there. But looking forward to it, and let's have a week.
Yeah. Reply to this video with who your best bet is or what your best bet is for this tournament.
And we'll tell you if it sucks or not.
I will tell you. I'll rate it out how I feel about it. Like, subscribe. If you're listening to the podcast version, leave a review. Rate and review helps me out greatly. And we will see you guys next week.
Watch him make it, break it, break it, break it.